Chapter 20, in which the last P is not that simple. What I don't understand, I said, as my back was shiatsued into submission, is why they even sell massage chairs in an airport. It was 5 hours and a thorough pat down from a less than friendly TSA officer later, and the three of us were killing time before our flight by testing out obscenely expensive massage chairs in Brookstone. I needed a massage too, after my first experience driving in Atlanta traffic, something I now believe should require NASCAR experience. Never mind the added stress of thinking we were followed. "Son, no one's following us," Garland shouted 6 or 7 times during the trip. "Keep your eyes on the damn road." He had a point. No one from Morningview Arbor had any reason to suspect we weren't on a school bus headed toward Chattanooga. But still, I kept envisioning men in an unmarked nursing home security van pulling us over and jumping out with guns drawn. I mentioned this, and Garland said, "Morningview Arbor has one security guard. His name is Hank, and he's older than me and drives a golf cart. I think we'll be okay, son, but if I spot him, I'll be sure to let you know." Garland was right, and now we were safely inside the airport, having our backs turned to Jello. "I don't care why they sell them," Parker said, her voice shaking as the chair switched to karate chop mode. "I'm just happy they do." "By the way," I said to Garland, "I can't believe you paid $28,000 for our tickets." $28,637, Garland said. "But who's counting?" "We should have flown coach," Parker said. "The hell we should have. I intend to leave just enough money for Lucian to bury me in a pine box. No need flying coach at this point in life. I might even buy one of these chairs when we get back." I laughed and said, "Okay, maybe old men spending their life savings are the target market. But seriously, who buys this stuff? Can you imagine stepping off a plane and saying, 'Oh, thank God, I really needed to grab a pair of crystal candlesticks from Schweiger's during this layover'?" "Damn Nazi sympathizers," Garland growled, loud enough that a woman standing nearby grabbed her child and left the store in a hurry. "You know, they had me in Austria after the war, hunting war criminals, and I actually ran into Joseph Schweiger at a pub in Wattens. He wasn't on my list, but I broke his nose anyway and barely made it out of there alive. Not my finest moment. He was 90 years old at the time. But I can't say I wouldn't do it again. You haven't lived until you've punched a Nazi in the face." He said stuff like this all the time, and I was never sure how to respond. So the three of us sat there in relative silence, only grunting when the massage rollers passed over our shoulder blades. "So," Garland finally said, "Parker tells me you've stirred up the prophetic Presbyterians." "Yeah," I said. Who knew they were still around? "Everyone knows they're still around, son," Garland said. "You seriously don't know about that church?" Parker asked. "They're on the news like once a week." I shrugged and she said, "In the early 90s, they transitioned from a predict the end of the world cult to a we really hate gay people cult. Now they picket funerals and bully people online and are basically a horde of bigots who wouldn't be missed at all if a small asteroid took out Omaha. Best part is, they sometimes call themselves OPP and have no idea why people think it's funny." I laughed and said, "You know me." "Wait, why is that funny?" Garland asked. "OPP?" Parker asked. How can I explain it?" We both laughed, and Garland waved a hand at us and mumbled, "Weird-ass kids." The chairs were back on our shoulders, and for a moment we were again reduced to grunting. Then Garland said, "All right, son, tell me about the girl." "What girl?" "What girl? You know damn well what girl. Parker told me the only reason you agreed to help us was to impress some girl." "I agreed to help you for $50,000, I said. "Now wait a minute. I only remember offering 25. I looked over and he grinned, and I got the feeling if I let on I didn't want to talk about Sadie, he'd only want to talk about her more. So I said, "Her name is Sadie, and she was my girlfriend, but she moved away." "I'm sorry to hear it, son. How long were you two an item?" Parker sat up in her chair to hear me better. "Little over a year," I said, because I'd learned it made people uncomfortable when I said 1 year, 2 months, 6 days, 4 hours, and 17 minutes. "You keep in touch with this old girlfriend of yours?" "She emails me sometimes," I said, "but I haven't spoken to her in months." Again, vague lengths of time were more socially acceptable than saying 11 months, 22 days, 11 hours, and 16 minutes. "I did see her aunt in the mall last week. She remembered me from Sadie's 16th birthday party. I asked her how Sadie was, and she just shrugged. Said she hadn't heard from any of them since they left." "Her family join a cult?" Garland asked. "Sort of," I said, and left it at that. The Grand Inquisitor was thinking of a follow-up question when Parker threw me a lifeline and said, "Edwin Green, let's go for a walk." "Okay," I said, and pried myself from the chair. "Go on," Garland said. "I don't want to walk with the two of you anyway. Think I'll run in the Mont Blanc store and buy me $1,000 fountain pen. We'll need 'em to fill out our landing cards in Paris." I laughed, but he bought 3 and gave us each one.